Hey guys, so it's Monday. I had a doctor's appointment this morning and I'm doing good. So anyway, it's 50 degrees out. Do you believe it? It was minus 22 on Thursday of last week. Now it's 50. So anyway, I got some comments on the donkey here. And the one guy, I think it's WFV2, had said about putting dowels in, and I was thinking about it. I'm going to put 2 holes here and 2 holes there for dowels, cut some pieces and just stick them in there. I don't want to put them so that they're glued in. I just want to put them in so that I can move them if I have to. But I think it's a really good idea. I don't know if I should go all the way down. I don't think so. See how they go in there. When I cut a couple pieces, I don't need them to be too long. Yeah, so 50 degrees. It's crazy. It's supposed to, over the weekend, it's supposed to go down to 30 only. So that's alright with me. Because this weather is murder. When you can't do nothing when it's as cold as it was. I'm thinking something about this height. All I need it for is so that I can put, you know, a piece of wood in there. Now I'm going to put 2 up here for shorter pieces. I figured that this would give me 24 inches with some overhang. This will give me 16 inches with some overhang. And that ought to be good for legs. So, yeah, so anyway, I thank you for the comment, because you know what they say, 2 heads are better than 1. And actually I was thinking about putting something there, but I didn't think about the dowels. Freaking wind. Yeah. All I want is for something so that, you know, when I put it in there and I pull on it, like to the side, it won't go very far. You know, if it moves a little bit, I'm not worrying about it. I don't need a whole bunch of holes in there. But I think that'll work pretty good. So, thanks for the idea, and now we got something extra on here. Okay, I'll show you some other stuff I was doing today then as well. I had bought, and I know maybe everybody doesn't like this, but I bought these at Harbor Freight. They're metric and an SAE size of O-rings, and they're really a nice assortment. They're not too bad. They're like a neoprene. It's not like a really good rubber, but they're not bad. I've seen worse. And you know, having a good selection of stuff like this comes in really handy for an emergency or whatever to get going. And I needed to use some of these to fix the backhoe. And, sorry about that, guys. What it was is that I'll show you what was leaking off. You can see this, my driveway is nothing but ice, but it's slushy ice. So, a couple more days like this and it'll be mud. I don't know which I love worse, or most. Slippery ice or mud. Alright, let me see if I can see this filter. I changed the filter on this backhoe. Yeah, now here's the thing. The filter's underneath this housing. What was happening is, when I came over here in the morning, I'm looking at this, and this thing was always shiny with diesel fuel on it. So here I found out that the little bleeder nut here was leaking. So I tried fixing it with a flat gasket like I did for this one. This nut holds or pulls the bottom of the housing up and sandwiches the filter in there. So that worked okay. Now this one here, I put a flat gasket on it thinking it would stop the leak, but it didn't stop the leak because the threads in here are a little not what they ought to be. This is like an aluminum or white metal, pot metal housing, so the threads are worn a little. So I ended up putting two of those O-rings on here, a bigger one and a smaller one, and when I tightened them up they stopped leaking. Now I'm beginning to think that the machine wasn't even frozen. I think there was air in the line. That's what I'm thinking happened to it, because it had bled. Diesel fuel was getting out of there, or I guess when it was pumping it might have been sucking air. So now it's been running good. I haven't had no problems. And John up in New York, see that cooler or that coolant thing I have there? That is a heater, but I keep burning them out. So, you know, you had asked me about the heater. That's the one I had, 850 watts. They don't seem to last for me for some reason. I did have a nice aluminum cast one time that lasted a long time, but these here, I don't know, not too good. So then, guys, I told you I have a load of trees coming, and of logs coming, and I need to be able to move the logs out of the way from where the truck is going to be putting them, because they're not in a place that I can leave them there. But the truck needs room, so I'm letting them put them there anyway. But here's the thing: these set of forks, and I get a lot of complaints, some comments. You'd think the guys had bought the forks and paid for them themselves, but they didn't. I did. It's 2 foot from the bucket up to the point there. Listen, if you've put 4-foot forks on this bucket, unless you spend $1,200 or $1,500 for them, this backhoe will bend them like a pretzel. So that's why I have these shorter ones. I have picked up many logs with these. Like I can put probably 2 10-inch logs on there, and maybe a third one, if it depends on how they roll up onto the bucket. I can put a third log on there, and if you're talking white oak, you know, you're looking at, I don't know, probably 1,500 to 2,000 pounds, and I don't have any problem with bending them. But that's why I'm using the short pieces, and they're easy for me to work with rather than 4-foot long forks. So everybody has their view. That's my view. This is why I made them, because they won't bend. Okay, I don't want to bend them. Alright, so anyway, what I did though today, from using them, the way I have the bolts made there that hold these in place. See, there's one bolt going through there, and there's a nut welded on the inside there. And there's another hole on the bottom of that 2x2 channel, or beam, or tube. So when I tighten that, it goes against the bucket. Same thing on that side. The problem with it is that you could easily move these forks, you know, sideways. And once they moved sideways, I had to get out of the machine and try and straighten them out. So I welded this piece on here, one on each side, one here and one on the other side over there, right there. I welded them on there today so that they would keep the forks straight. Okay, so they're easy to get on and off yet. They're not going to affect what I load into the bucket. And all I got to do is tighten them bolts up to basically hold it, a little bit of friction to hold them on the bucket. And I'm good to go. And they're not hard to put on or take off. So that's what I made. I was thinking about making them longer. I would like to have longer ones, but not for handling logs. I'd like to have longer ones for handling skids of lumber, which is already dried, but the wet logs are a lot heavier than what dried lumber is. So I'm still going to make another set 4-foot long. I just don't need them right now. So anyway, that's one other thing that I did today. You know, this nice weather is making me want to do stuff. The only thing is all I'm doing is making a mess because of we still have a lot of snow and a lot of water yet. Guys, you can see that the fans are not running in here, but just to give you an idea of how it was today. Now these fans shut off about half an hour ago, and I'm going to have to adjust the timer soon because of the sunlight. But here's the thing, 80 degrees in there yet. So even without the sun, it went up pretty high today just because of the temperatures being around 50. When I looked at it before, it was 105 in there. I just didn't have the camera with me. So if you're keeping track of a little bit of what's going on with the kiln, it's 50 degrees out. There was not a lot of sun today. You can see the sun setting over there, but it's a very cloudy. So I can't say it was bright sun, but there were some hours of bright sun, and the temperature went up to about 105. So, in case you're watching that. Now you can see how icy this is, and naturally the water, Sally comes from between the dog coop, or the dog kennel, and the little garage here, and she goes this way. So you can see how icy that is, you know, potential for slipping. What I'm going to do is, I have some stone I can pick up. I want to put a little bit of stone on this just to keep it from getting messy. A lot of the snow is melting and making water down there. The nice thing today is that everybody, no matter where I went when I was out, everybody's happy to have this warm weather. Even the chickens were happy. You can see that their coop is heated. I don't have any insulation in there, but it's heated, and the snow's still where the yard is, but it's not where most of the heat is in there. So they were even enjoying being outside today, running around in this weather. So I had cleaned out the chicken coop then and stuff, and what I do is I throw the manure and the straw and stuff that comes from the chickens onto where I'm going to be planting grass seed next year. But what I was going to say, when I was walking over here getting my little buggy to put the straw in, I'm surprised the deer were coming right up to the house here eating my corn that I put out for the squirrels. How dare the king's deer eat my corn that I got for my squirrels? What do you think of that? And then I guess finally, the last thing, or maybe not the last thing, but you can see that this is ice here, but I also left tracks even from the four-wheeler leaving tracks, which actually make it easier to walk. But when the temperature goes down, if this isn't out of here, it's going to be pretty icy. That's when I'll put the ashes down. For right now, I don't really need them because you're leaving little footprints as you walk. So guys, if you've been watching my channel, then you know that out here by the road, the electric company came and cut down trees they claimed they needed down for the wires, whatever. But there was about 500 white oak saplings planted here, you know, from I guess God planted them. But either way, they're gone now. So what I'm going to do here with this is I'm going to take and I'm going to plant grass all the way down there. Now I've already graded this off pretty much and taken out some of the roots. I want to take the roots out again. That's why I put the pointy teeth on the backhoe. And right now it's just too much snow and too cold to do it. But if you look, what I'm getting at is down here, you see where that brown spot is? That's straw and stuff from the chicken coop. So what I've been doing, and you know, you got to try to remember how you're handling this. Like right from where the pole is here, I started, because that's where they started cutting the trees down, I put maybe 25 feet of that same straw. That's actually Timothy down there. I find out that Timothy smells good and the chickens seem to eat some of the tips of it as well. But anyway, Timothy, I put that in here, went about 25 feet. You know, there's chicken manure in there, there's some little bit of feed and stuff in there. It helps add some nutrients to when I go to plant the grass. So I did that like 25 feet, and now I'm all the way down at the end there. So the next time I clean out the chicken coop, I'll be starting up here again. But, you know, what I'm trying to say is that, you know, you're like recycling stuff. So instead of wasting it and throwing it on a pile somewhere or trying to bury something, this way here you can reuse it, and it helps to get the soil conditioned. Because where the soil is that was underneath these scrub oak and stuff, you're not going to get any real grass to grow. It's too thin. Now, yeah, some of that construction spray that they have that grows grass on rocks, I guess that would work, but I'm going to be using regular grass seed. So anyway, I clean out the chicken coop, put the stuff in a wheeled cart that I have, and then spread it down there. Well, it's hard to see, but what you're looking at there is about 25 feet wide, you know, from, where's my finger? I don't know, from front to back, it's 25 feet wide. And then this direction, it's around 35 feet. So that'll make that good for this upcoming spring when I grade this off and finally get to put grass seed there. And I also, because I don't have a lot of open spots on my property, it's mostly woods, what I want to do is the same way that I have up this way, these different planting beds. There's 3 of them up there. I want to put 2 down in here yet, because when you plant potatoes they tell you not to plant them in the same spot year after year. So I need a couple more so I can swap off from one to the other, and that should, you know, give me a good give the soil a chance to do whatever it does before I can plant more potatoes. So that's the reasoning behind this. You can see the road's sort of muddy out there. I don't know. It's mud, and instead of putting cinders or sand down, the guys from the gas well put 2B stone down, or it's actually a mix of 2B and 1B stone, and it makes it good for traction. But you know, we've got a lot of water now, so we're going back to mud. So hopefully I'd rather if the temperature stayed down, to be honest with you. At least this way here we don't have the mud, but sooner or later when spring comes it does turn to mud. There's no way to get around it. What you're looking at here, I was saying about the deer coming close to the house, those are deer tracks there. And you can see, where's that other hole? Right there, they dug a hole down where the alfalfa was from before, and they were eating that, plus some of the grass seed. So anyway, have a good one, guys. So this is the southern exposure of the house here, the southern end. South is that way. And you can see a lot of the snow melted, the ice melted. The other day, something funny. I had just come in the house. I had gotten a shower. I was laying down a little bit, taking a little rest. And I have alarms on this house. So all of a sudden there was an alarm going off that someone was on the porch. And I couldn't figure out what it was. Usually anything small doesn't set the alarm off because of the way I have it situated. But don't you know, I came up here and there was a doe standing on the porch. Luckily she didn't smash herself through one of the windows or whatever, but yeah, she was standing on the porch, and it was dark out already, so that's even crazy for where we live. I would have expected a bear to do that, but not while it's this cold, you know, and snowy, but the deer was standing on the porch. In the past couple days, I would say that we've easily lost, I don't know, 18 inches of snow. There was around, I think, 20 inches of snow in the woods at one point, and right now there's probably 8 inches. So, you know, we lost a foot of snow in just the past 2 or 3 days with that warm temperatures that we've been having. Guys, thanks for watching my videos. Really appreciate it. Sally and I have a lot of other things planned. Got to get some people here working with us back to work and soon, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, thank you again and have a good one.